You're welcome back. This is Unit 5, Module 1 of BIO304. This is the last unit of the first module in this course, whereby we are discussing ecosystem. Now, what is succession in ecosystems? Succession. Have you heard that word before? What does it really mean? The changes that exist in the environment, like how you grow from being an infant to an adult, to a young adult, then to adult, then to old men and women. That is what we call succession. How you now reproduce, how you exist, how you come about. That is what is referred to as succession. Now let's give it a proper definition. Succession is a process of ecological change over time in a given area of an ecosystem from simple to complex. Should I repeat myself? Okay, I don't need to. Thank you. Now, that is succession. Please take note of that. It's very simple to understand. Now, this change occurs even when the climate remains stable so far year and year. Succession is continuous and worldwide in scope. For example, a wooded area is cleared and left alone. Plants will slowly reclaim the area. Eventually, traces of the clearing will disappear and the area again will be woods. You see how succession is being taking place using that example. Now we have two types of succession. We have primary succession and we have secondary succession. So what is primary succession? Primary succession occurs on bare lifeless substrate like a rock or uncolonized ground which has never had any vegetation growing on it before, or in open water like newly formed lake. What are you trying to say here? Primary succession is a type of succession that occurs in a land that has not had a taste of growth before, has a taste of plant growth before. So you can have primary succession, maybe a building. Let me use that example. A building is just being demolished, everything is collapsed. That place has not grown with for a very long time. So primary succession can take place from that. So immediately the land is being demolished, the next thing is the plant will start growing. So the plant that grows there are the first of their kind in that environment. Okay, so that is what we say. So they give a sample here, which I will not be able to read all for you. So now, but when a succession is about to start, primary succession, what are the types of plants that will start growing in such area? The first thing is lichen. Lichen is like a mold, that is on the ground. Something, those green are something that are always attaching themselves to the surface of the wall. You remember, you see those things, green color like this. That is lichen. So that is that's the species that will first grow. Then mosses will also grow. Then fern. Then later other plants will start growing in that place. So they will ask you in the exam or even your team that what are the types of plants that first grow on for a primary succession. So we have lichen, we have mosses, we have fern. Now succession can occur in different areas. It can occur on rock. If it occurs on rock, we call it little cell. If it occurs on background, it's called serocell. And if it occurs in water, it's called hydrocell. So I want you to note that primary succession that occurs on rock, little cell, the one that occurs on bare ground, serocell, and the one that occurs on that occurs on water is called hydrocell. So that is that about primary succession. Now, because primary succession also always involves that process, it is predetermined. Everybody knows that the first thing that happens is the growth of the growth of mosses, then lichen, then fern. So an ecologist come up with a concept called climax vegetation. He felt that succession represented represented a unidirectional series of change which could not be reversed. But now, with increasing realization that climate keeps changing, process of succession is often very slow. Then the nature of region vegetation is being determined by a greater extent of human activities. Ecology do not consider the concept of climate vegetation to be useful again. Why? So in your exam, this is how they will ask you that ecology do not consider the concept of climate vegetation to be useful as they once did. Why? So we have three reasons why ecology do not consider the concept of climate vegetation again. Number one is climate keeps changing. Number two is process of succession is often very slow. And three is the nature of a region. Vegetation is being determined to a greater extent by human activities. So those are the three reasons why climax vegetation concept is no longer recognized. I hope you get that. Now let's move on to secondary succession. Secondary succession occurs, when a wooded area has been cleared but left alone. So this thing will grow back. That does not mean the soil has not been, has not tasted plants before. Okay, so that is what secondary succession is. Then human interference. So they may be asked what is human interference. Human interference for agricultural production has altered vegetation change or completely destroyed the natural vegetation. That is what human interference does to succession. Now explain the following terms: lithocell, xerocell, and hydrocell. We say primary succession that occurs on a bare rock is what is called lithocell, and primary succession that occurs on a bare ground is called xerocell, while primary succession that occurs on water is called hydrocell. Then what do you understand by ecological succession? We have defined that and it's very simple. So that's that about that. Now, this is a very concise and simple definition for primary succession and secondary succession, just in case you are being asked to distinguish between the two. Primary succession starts from the scratch in areas that are originally bare, like rock or open water. That's primary succession. Then secondary succession is defined as a succession that takes place in areas where the communities or organisms that existed initially had been disturbed. That is another coincidence. So if you need definition for the two, this is the very simple definition for you, and you are going to get your full mark for stating that. Now let's talk about the tutor mark assignment. What is primary succession? That is just what we just discussed now. Then name three locations where primary succession can take place. It can take place on a rock, it can take place on a bare soil or bare ground, and it can take place on water. Okay, now what type of organisms are often associated with early stage of primary succession? We have discussed that. We said the first one uh we have moss, we have lichen, and we have fern. These are the organisms that are associated with early stage of primary succession. Then explain in details why humans are considered to initiate secondary succession. Why is human? Number one reason for human disturbance is agricultural activity. I mean, that is even the main reasons why humans are considered to initiate secondary succession, due to the cutting of grass and deforestation. Those are the two major reasons: cultivation of land and deforestation. Those are the major reasons why humans are considered to initiate secondary succession. So thank you so much. Let's move on to the next module. I promise you it's going to be interesting. Thank you.